You can rub your hands together until you get a blister. But to have a true callus region on your hands, you need to work like a man. If you didn't catch that, maybe you should train harder. It's time to be a master with Let's Blending. Okay, so I figured out my problem. In the inventory control, I needed an else if instead of an if. Yep, I make the tiny mistakes as well. About yours. Anyway, I can now click on that and it moves to there, to there, to there, to there. Doesn't really update fast, but that's fine. But even though I made a mistake, I learned something. One of my solutions was to try to use a Boolean property on my mouse pointer object, this thing right here, so that I could tell when I was clicking and say true or false and all that stuff. It was actually kind of complicated. But in doing that, I learned something. I learned that the module version of the Python controller goes really fast. In fact, it goes so fast that it loads the Python script before the object is able to load its properties. What that means is that if you try to use a Boolean property and use it to see if something should or shouldn't happen, it will sometimes tell you that it doesn't have the property. Now, I was looking directly at the property and debugging it, and it told me I didn't have the property. So it goes pretty fast. So now we can move our stuff around. But let's see about bringing the scene up. Now, before I have an error like last time, let's move this one up. Nope. That is not going to work. We'll just try this. I'm pretty sure if you I'm pretty sure if you leave it blank, it defaults to whatever scene the logic bricks are in. Okay, so I believe I forgot that I deleted my camera. Also, if you want your camera to face in a specific direction, you can use the directional keys when you spawn it in. Just use the directional keys, hit Shift A, and choose camera. And that'll make it point in the direction you're looking. Just in case you didn't know that. So now we have our mostly working inventory. So let's see if we can get them to grab an item and put it in their inventory. That's better. Hmm. We're going to want to generate the inventory at the start of this scene. And while I could place it on any object I want, I'm going to place this on the object we're picking up. It doesn't have to be on there. It's just here to generate the inventory. Wait. Now let me go over this one real quick. And I don't need that. Okay. This pick item, function, module, whatever. If we have an inventory, that's this first line. And if we have an item in that index, we're getting this hit object from somewhere else. If we have this item in that hit object's index, and our extra space where we're putting stuff when we pick it up is blank, then we make our blank inventory slot our hit object inventory slot, and then our hit object inventory slot becomes empty. Otherwise, if our hit object index inventory is empty and our pickup slot is not, then we do the opposite. We make the logic.globalDict inventory object index equal the logic.globalDict inventory index 100, and then logic.globalDict inventory index 100 equals none. This grab place is when our mouse is over something and we click on it. We get our owner, we get our over sensor. This is for a mouse over anything. And click is a left click sensor. And if over.positive and click.positive, the object equals the over sensor's hit object, and then we pass it to pick item. This track mouse gets the owner, gets the over sensor hit position, creates a new position that's slightly offset, and then owner.position equals our new position. This should work, hopefully. Okay. Item equals object item. Got equals false. That's to say we got the item, we didn't get the item. For I in range 45, if logic.globalDict inventory. If we have the inventory, and if the inventory 0 is equal to the item name, and got is false, then we add 1 to the inventory amount, got equals true, and then we break. Now, for a sword that has health, this doesn't quite work. I should have added one more thing to the item dictionaries, and that should have been stackability, or a stack boolean. And that would have, I would have been able to do, if it's stackable, add 1, else we just toss it in there. Or, later on, I could have item, stack, and health, like Cube Creator 3D does, and allow you to have a stack of items, which I might do. But just giving you a heads up that this won't always work with the sword. And if God is still equal to false, for I in range 45, we check to see if the inventory doesn't have anything in there, and we put one of the item in there. And this to inventory controller, we get the over and the click sensors, which we'll put on the player's camera. And if over.positive and click.positive we're gonna pass the object to here. So grab that line. I like to copy and paste.